Assalamu alaikum. Friends, welcome back to the channel, The Faithful Academy. We are a homeschooling family. We are continuing to read the series, The Prophets of Allah, Volume 3. Now we're going to start Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, Part 3. The King's Dream. Many years later, the king of Egypt had a very strange dream. The next morning, he called his advisors to tell them about it. In my dream, I saw 7 fat cows being eaten by 7 skinny cows, said the king with a confused look on his face. Then I saw 7 green ears of corn and 7 dry ears of corn. Can any of you tell me what this means? His advisors thought long and hard, but could not understand the meaning of the dream. Suddenly, the king's wine server remembered Yusuf alayhi salam. He was ashamed that he had forgotten about his friend for so long. He hoped that now he could make up for his mistake. I know a way to find the meaning of your dream, he told the king. The king gave him permission to leave the palace and go find Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. He went straight to the prison where he found Yusuf still sitting in his cell. He embraced his old friend and apologized for forgetting about him for so long. When Yusuf alayhi salam had forgiven him, he told the Prophet alayhi salam about the king's dream. Yusuf alayhi salam replied, For 7 years you will plant many fields of corn. When you pick the corn, only eat a small portion of it. Save most of it for later, because there will be 7 years of drought when no rain will fall. Many people will be starving and looking for food, so it is important to save the corn from the 7 good years to make sure that there is enough for everyone to eat. After the 7 years of drought pass, Allah will send a lot of rain. There will be plenty of food to eat, and the people will make juices and oils and many other good things. Yusuf alayhi salam's friend thanked him and promised that he would do all he could do to release him from prison. He rushed back to the royal palace to inform the king of the interpretation. When the king heard what the servant had to say, he was grateful to have learned such valuable information. Bring this man to me, he instructed his servant. I will make him my most trusted assistant. The servant took the king's message back to Yusuf alayhi salam and let him know that he was now a free man. Although Yusuf alayhi salam was glad to be free at last, he was upset by the fact that people still did not know the truth about him and the Aziz's wife. Before I get out, go back to the king and ask about the lady who was after me, he said. Yusuf alayhi salam refused to leave the prison until his name was cleared of any wrongdoing. The king sent for the wife of the Aziz. He asked her why Yusuf alayhi salam had gone to jail and what had really happened. The Aziz's wife was suddenly overcome by guilt for what she had done to Yusuf alayhi salam. I was wrong. I was the one who tried, she confessed. He did not do anything wrong because he respected Allah and the Aziz who was his master. Yusuf alayhi salam is an honorable and righteous man. When everyone heard this, they realized that he had been innocent all along. When Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam was freed from prison, he immediately went to work for the king. As time passed, the king became very impressed with his honesty and hard work. He appointed Yusuf alayhi salam to be in charge of the storehouses where the crops and food would be stored for the drought. It was his job to make sure that enough food was being saved for the bad years to come. This was a very big responsibility for Yusuf alayhi salam, was a hardworking, but Yusuf alayhi salam was a hard worker. He was always fair and respectful to the farmers who brought their crops to the storehouse, and it was not long before his reputation became widely known. The storehouses overflowed with corn and other grains by the time the 7 years of good harvest had passed. Then, as if by magic, the rain stopped coming. The land became dry and dusty, and the ground cracked under the extreme heat. The plants and vegetations withered and died. Throughout the region, the drought depleted harvests and food supplies dwindled. People began to panic about the possibility of starvation. However, because of his careful planning, Yusuf alayhi salam made sure that everyone had enough to eat. Word of the king's surplus of food spread quickly. Soon, caravans and travelers from every corner of the region were coming to Egypt to buy food. The king was extremely proud of his intelligent and gifted advisor. Because of him, the kingdom was making money even in the time of drought. Clearly, Yusuf alayhi salam was a special person. Okay, friends, thank you so much for reading along with us the story continuation of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. Please don't forget to subscribe and join us in our next video with story of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam part 4. Assalamu alaikum.